It's time for Football Friday Night on 5 News. The scores, the highlights, brought to you by the University of Arkansas Fort Smith. The game of the week is brought to you by The Party Place.
Bentonville and Northside are used to facing each other. Northside, though, hasn't beaten the Tigers in a decade. Had a chance to do it tonight. Had this one at home. Derek Wise shot just shy of the goal line. This is the first quarter, but he punches in the next play. Northside got a 7-0 lead in downtown Fort Smith. Bentonville going to try to fire back. Kanan Ross, nice pass there. Trey Norwood with a tackle into the 5. And Bentonville's going to cap this drive off. Tyler Johnson on the receiving end there. That's wide open. 7-7 at that point. Move ahead to the second quarter. Trey Norwood plays offense as well. He's the quarterback. He's going to hand it off to Wise again. This time he's going to break a tackle, and he's off to the races. Picks up big yardage. Finally brought down just shy of the 30-yard line. Second quarter, though, the Tigers, well, they're going to barrel in here. Tanner Hudgens 1 yard out, and it's going to lead to a 1-yard quarterback sneak by Ross. So it's 14-10, just a minute left before the half. And just before the half, Mays Hunt's going to be stopped by Norwood again. This is that matchup that we talked about all week that was so big. Trey Norwood versus Cameron Mays Hunt, and that's why right there, that's why Northside thought they could shut him down. The Tigers moving on, though. It's 24-10. At this point, Easton Miller going to find openings almost to the end zone. Stop just down. Ross going to finish it off one more time with another quarterback sneak. And Bentonville, the team that nobody seems to think has a chance to win a state championship, finds themselves in the Final Four. The Tigers go on the road and beat Northside 31-10. Bentonville rolls to a big win, so they're moving on. Fayetteville had a week to rest and recuperate, and the defending 7A state champion looked like a fresh team as Conway was in town tonight. The winner of this game going to take on that Bentonville team. And, well, that intro probably said it all. Fayetteville is really good. Opening possession of the game, Taylor Powell to Terrence Rock. He's had a tough week. How about a touchdown right there for the kid who was falsely arrested? He's getting a little payback tonight against the Wampus Cats. Rock also going to pound the rock. He's picking up big gain on the ground. Nicely done there for the Bulldogs. Helps sets up this. Taylor Powell to Cody Gray. Purple Dogs have a 14-0 lead at the half. And the defense, well, they're going to help here Akil Byers. He's committed to Alabama pretty much because of those type of plays right there. You can't run up the middle on Fayetteville. Then it's Matt Burton's right here, untouched for the sack. Fayetteville has it clicking on all cylinders right now, and offense is going to put it away early in the second. Powell to Harry Shipley for the big gain, and then the big man, Dan Hinton, ices it right here for Fayetteville. They go on for an easy 35-0 win. Let's move to the bottom half of the bracket. Actually, it's the top half. And to get a little ahead of ourselves, but Harbor, the defending 7A West Conference champion from a year ago, the defending 7A runner-up from a year ago, but Bryant made the trip to Northwest Arkansas. He's got a 3-0 lead after that 40-yarder. Latavion Scott's going to take the handoff here. It's 10-0 Bryant. The Hornets have their eyes on an upset. Hayden Ray again. That with a field goal, 13-0. Still within striking distance, and the Harbor defense going to put them on the board. How about a safety? You don't see that very often on a pass play, but nicely done there. It's 13-2, but Bryant just too much for the Wildcats. Hard to believe this. It was 20-2 after that touchdown. We take a look at the score here. No Pandas are happy. 23-16. Harbor goes down. So let's take a look at how this 7A bracket sets up right now. The top half, all teams from the 7A Central. North Little Rock taking on Bryant. The bottom half, all teams from the 7A West. Fayetteville, Bentonville. Stop me if you've heard that one before. They're going to meet in the playoffs. Bentonville also the only team that's beaten Fayetteville this year. Well, Greenwood is supposed to coast to a 6A title. The Bulldogs are supposed to be head and shoulders better than the rest of the field, but they still have to play the games on that field in El Dorado, a team that's, well, they won a lot of 6A championships themselves, but Greenwood, well, they're just really good. Kenny Wood going to take the handoff around the right side. He's going to dive for the pylon, but they call him out at the 2. We don't necessarily agree with that, ref. That's why you're there and we're here, because we can make fun of you even if you make the right call. I don't care. 2 plays later, Kenny Wood going to take it in for the score. Bulldogs got a 7-0 lead. They're going to have home field throughout the playoffs if they continue to win. Greenwood kicker right here, Grant Enos, going to put it through the uprights. Got a 2-score lead, 10-0 at that point. And Greenwood going to do it again on the board. This time a touchdown pass to Drew Dundee. Connor Nolan at the helm there. It's 17-0 at that point. Take a look at the final score. Not a blowout like most expected, but Greenwood handles business They win at 20-13. Let's move things down to the 5A playoffs. Watson Chapel made the long drive to Alma. They had to do it with a backup quarterback, but Jaquan Dorsey did not look like a backup quarterback tonight. He looked more like an all-state player. Big run there sets up, this is the opening drive of the game, sets up this dart of a touchdown pass to Ja'Cory Qualls. Wildcats have a 7-0 lead. Now it's 14-0 still in the first half, and Watson Chapel trying to blow this game wide open. Davion White, short touchdown run there. It's 21-0. Alma looks like they're going to get blown out by an interception late with 5 seconds left in the first half. Nice touchdown pass by Noah Dotson to Braden Johnson. The Airedales have life, but a back-breaking drive by the Wildcats in the third quarter put this one away. It got close in the end, but Alma goes down 42-35. Well, Prairie Grove had a chance to sit back and relax last weekend. They had a bye, but tonight they just made up for lost time. We've got the highlights of the undefeated Tigers coming up next.
Football Friday Night, brought to you by the University of Arkansas Fort Smith.
Prairie Grove hasn't lost to a team in Class 4A in more than 2 years. And Danny Absher's team made sure that didn't happen again tonight. Central Arkansas Christian had made the trip to the number 1 seed from the 4A1. Plenty of fireworks to go around for the Tigers. And Zeke Laird, well, he's showing off why he's having a big year. 29-yard pass to DeMarcus Cooper. That's going to set up a score. 6-0. Prairie Grove has a lead. Next drive, Laird, a 1-yard touchdown run. It's 12-0. Prairie Grove. Now late in the first quarter, Tigers, they can do it on the ground too. Kyle Sam's going to break off a 38-yarder here. Prairie Grove had no rust from being off last week. It didn't seem to matter. They did anything they wanted to. Now this one on fourth down though, Laird going to hit Anthony Johnson. Full foreshadowing, mainly because I have the shot sheet in front of me. How about another score? 20-0 Prairie Grove, and you want to see a big number? Put up that final score. 61 points for Prairie Grove. They're moving on. And the biggest upset of the playoffs so far goes to Pea Ridge. The Blackhawks go on the road and beat undefeated number 1 ranked Nashville, also the defending state champion Scrappers. Oh, by the way, Pea Ridge lost this game by 3 touchdowns in the state semifinals last year. Tell me that's not a nice little payback. 53-28. Pea Ridge is moving on. Stay in the 4A playoffs. Let's go to the northeast corner. The Hillbillies upset Ashdown last week, taking on Gosnell tonight, and Ozarks got a lead early. Dawson Dietz to Daniel Richard up the middle, 7-0. Gosnell, the number 1 seed from the conference in the northeast corner. Well, they can strike back. Brandon Partee to Markel McKinney, 7-all at that point. Hillbillies, though, they're hanging with it. Dietz going to keep it himself this time, 14-7. Ozarks got a lead on the road. And Pirates trying to get back into it. Albert Boyd, Gosnell touchdown here. Extra point was no good. It was 14-13, but unfortunately, Ozark just not enough bullets in the end. And they go down 25-14. Take a look at the other 4A playoffs. Shiloh Christian got a great draw coming out of the playoffs, and it shows 42-7 at a conference champion tonight. And Gravett, they fumbled on their opening drive, and they were behind the 8 ball from that point. They go down to Hamburg 42-10. Smackover and Charleston had a state championship game for the ages 2 years ago. The 2 players, the big-time players in that game, now play for the Razorbacks. Tonight, though, just a good old-fashioned defensive throwdown. No Ty Story for Charleston, no Jordan Jones for Smackover, but they got plenty of defense, and that's all you need, especially if you play at Charleston. Jackson Rowland going to hand it off there. Tigers don't get the 2-point conversion, so it's 6-0. Not many touchdowns after that point, though. Tigers moving on. Several turnovers in the game here. Rowland's picked off, intercepted by Dorsey Williams for Smackover. They're called the Buckaroos. It's one of the better mascots in the state, but didn't really mean anything. Charleston's going to get a field goal here from Josh Taggart. It's 9-0. Tigers have a lead, and you take a look at the final score. It was 9-0. It doesn't matter how you win it in the playoffs, as long as you do win it. Charleston's moving on. Elkins on the road at Glen Rose, the central part of the state. The Elks taking on the Beavers. They punt here, and, well, let's just say this is not a great play by Elkins. They try to pick up the dead ball fumble, and they turn it over. The touchdown doesn't count, but Glen Rose gets the ball inside the 10-yard line. Mental mistakes got Elkins early in this one. And a couple plays later, Aaron Weatherford's going to punch it in 7-0. Glen Rose has a lead. Elkins couldn't do anything on their next possession. Glen Rose is going to get the ball back. Austin Hughes up the seam. 69 yards, and the Beavers got a 14-0 lead. Elkins, though, going to get on the board. Colton Vaught, well, he's been doing this all season long for Elkins. He's going to punch it in. That capped a 78-yard drive, but Glen Rose handles them easily. Take a look at the 2A. England, the number 1 team in the state, hosting Hackett. And, well, they just showed why they're the number 1 team. But Hackett, last year they were knocked out of the playoffs with a number 1 team, the eventual state champion. And tonight, well, unfortunately for the Hornets, it happened that way. Brandon Brazil, touchdown run there. Hackett, though, going to get back into this one. Eli Storms, perfect pass there. It's 3rd and 22. Hits Robert Collins a few plays later. Storms going to keep it himself. It's 15-6. This was a nip and tuck game for their first 2.5 quarters, but in the end, England just too much as they pull away and they win this one 40-20. Take a look at a couple other out-of-town scores. Des Arc, they had a bye and they knock off Mountainburg 34-28, and Paris had to make the long drive to Fordyce. Their season comes to an end 22-12 as the Eagles go down. First, you have to give a big shout out to Stephen Neal, first-year head coach at Pea Ridge, took over a program that's having a lot of success. They go to Nashville, win a huge game there. And next week, it's never too early to look ahead. The 7A semifinals, stop me if you've heard it. Fayetteville, Bentonville, the winner has a chance to win a state championship. What else can you ask for? All that's coming up next week on the final edition of Football Friday Nights. We'll see you in 7 days.